I've taken the most obnoxious mug I could find. Please do not tell my sister. Today I want to chat to you a bit about what I'm studying, how I'm studying it, and why the fuck I'm studying it. Because those are interesting questions that I ask myself all the time. So, first of all, what am I studying? I have started studying a Bachelor of Music last year, so this is my third semester in that study, and belatedly I also added a second Bachelor of Music to that, so now I'm studying like more the artistic, which in German is called künstlerische Ausbildung, which is basically becoming a musician, a soloist, maybe an orchestra musician, whatever. And I'm studying EP, which means Instrumentalpädagogik, which basically translates to also wanting to become a teacher. So I get all those like aspects of how to teach as well in that study, which means a few more lectures, but I think it's definitely worth it. A little tea on the side, in Germany you can become an instrumentalist teacher, whether or not you've actually studied becoming a teacher, which I think is really bad. I do not like it. Also, they literally get paid the same money as us people who actually did that additional studying, so fuck you. Fuck you. This semester, so in October, I also started studying at a university in a neighboring city, and I study a two-major bachelor there, which is musicology and English literature. Why did I do that? Well, it was pretty clear from an early age onwards that I was gonna study music. I did a pre-study program for like young gifted children basically when I was 12, and I did that for 5 years while I was still going to school, and then it made sense to just transition into a normal study. There were also definitely issues there, and I'm gonna talk about that in a second, but I'm not unhappy with studying music. That was not why I decided to study something else. I just felt like I wasn't really challenged enough, and when I'm not challenged enough, or when I don't do like a diverse range of things, then I often tend to just not do anything at all. I don't really know how to explain this in human language because it really doesn't make that much sense to most people, I guess. But I think there's just like a stimulation level that I have that needs to be fulfilled so that I actually am interested in the things I'm doing. And if I only do one thing or like much of the same thing, then that stimulation level isn't there. And also if I have too much time to myself, I tend to overthink and worry too much, which also leads to me not doing anything at all because I'm too worried about going wrong. So basically this like pre-existential dread, I guess, led me to want to study more and widen my horizon. But also a thing that I've been definitely thinking a lot about in the recent years is the question of own choice, because people will always hear about my like pre-study experience and then they go like, did your parents force you to do this? And no, they did not. I'm not one of those people where my parents were like pushing me a lot. I did all the things I wanted to do because I wanted to do them, but that doesn't really answer the question of was it my own choice, because at the time that I started preparing for the audition for this pre-study program, I was 11 years old. It was my teacher's idea, it was not my idea, and it was also heavily being supported by my parents, especially my father. So I don't really think you can say that at 11 years of age I made that choice. So English literature was basically something that I've been always dreaming about studying. I have been writing from a very early age. I also definitely had a time where my relationship with writing was kind of abusive, but English literature was always something that my parents, they didn't like tell me not to do it, but they just didn't really support it. So that was something where I knew, oh, this is my own choice, because no one has ever told me I should study English literature. There's literally no influence from outside of my own brain that could have made me want to do this. And over the past year, even though I had fun in my music study, I always felt like, but I wanted to do this as a thing, and now I'm never gonna do it. And I got extremely existential about that, because it was like someone made this choice for me, and I am literally a scared 12-year-old in an 18-year-old's body, and I just want to study some English, what the fuck? And then I was like, wait a second, I can still do that. She's so cute when she's sleepy, wishes all the time. However, obviously there's also some problems. This would be what a normal week in my life looks like. So that is basically all my courses. Then I need to do coursework. And then, would you believe it, I also need to practice. Practicing is a thing that's quite huge in the Bachelor of Music department. So it's been going well. So the semester started in October, and definitely in the beginning I was quite stressed. I hadn't really adjusted to the new stress levels for like 3 or 4 weeks, so I spent October being very stressed. I also definitely pulled a lot of all-nighters in that time, but it's since gotten a bit better. In November I was also quite stressed for as long as I did NaNoWriMo, because, well, I am an overachiever by trade, but even for me it was a bit too much, which is why I stopped around the middle of the month when I had reached 50k, even though urgently I wanted to do a double nano. I have pulled probably about 1 all-nighter per week. It's a bit hard to tell with me because I'm not really insomniac, but my circadian rhythm is just a bit messed up. It also very easily gets messed up in winter. Like right now I definitely feel it going around the clock again, which corresponds to really weird times that I suddenly have the biggest hunger and not being able to eat at normal meal times because I just feel sick and nauseous. So all of that gets kind of wrapped into having to pull all-nighters anyway, because I need to get some work done, and so I can't really tell how many all-nighters I would have pulled either way, but it's nice to know that at least I'm spending those being productive now. The one thing that I will say has hit me a bit hard recently is winter depression. I am definitely keeping an eye on that because mental health is more important than, you know, studying my ass off. First of all, if there's a seminar that you need to attend or a lecture, but you don't really feel like you're working that much in it, do some other work. I specifically had this with one seminar where I was actually very excited to be in that seminar, but then it turned out to be kind of meh. However, I've already done part of the participation requirement, so I'm not gonna drop out. However, during the seminar I can totally do something else and still get attendance points for it. So, for example, 2 weeks ago I wrote a huge chunk of an English essay in that seminar. The sun is going away. That's great. This is what my mood feels like. Okay. I think there's this really unhealthy trend on studytube that is like maximum commitment and, you know, you need to behave as well as possible all the time. No, you do not. You need to do what's best for you. If that means missing a lecture for the sake of your mental health, you go ahead and do that. You are the person who knows yourself best, and you don't have to attend every lecture. If you're like me and you're doing a lot of things at the same time, you might have to, you know, do some things at the same time. If that means attending a seminar and also doing something else, and you still manage to do both things well enough, that's fine. Another thing I've definitely learned is to try to worry less. Because a lot of the time I will hold myself up to enormous standards and then realize everyone else didn't do that. A lot of the time people will want to help you, like all the people in charge will actually want to help you because they have been going through the same kind of shit and they know that regulations are garbage and they will do everything humanly possible to help you along. So if you're struggling, you should just really go ask someone because most of the time they'll be happy to help you. Looking into the future, I am extremely excited about it. Right now, you know, I'm a bit depressed, so I'm like trying to hype myself up about it. But I think it's actually gonna be quite fun. It's gonna be a bit complicated in the years to come because I don't really know what I'm doing yet. I am probably gonna do Erasmus. I am super looking ahead to that. And then I don't really know when I can finish my secondary study. I don't know how much time it's gonna take me to finish my 2 bachelors of music. After that I'm going to China, then I'm taking the train back to Russia. There's so much going on in my future, and I'm so happy about that because it keeps me here. It gives me things to hang on to. Right now my life might be shit. It isn't, but it might be, you know. But in a year I'm gonna be in Scotland. I'm not gonna be in Scotland in a year. That was a stupid... Anyway, there's things all over the place that I could do, and there's actually so many that I can't do them all. And I'm not gonna lie, I have had quite a rough time recently. Because of stress that I've brought upon myself, because of winter depression, which I have decidedly not brought upon myself, because of many a thing. But I still have an optimistic outlook right now, and I haven't had that for a long time. A long time. I'm gonna go cuddle the cat now. Have fun. I totally sound like a bitch right now, I'm aware. I'm sorry. I promise I'm only a little bit of a bitch. Circadian. I am sorry, I do not have the time to write all my notes in 5 different colors, you fucking... I'm gonna go with circadian. I'm not gonna leave that in there, but like...